Welcome, everybody, to the Double Double Podcast. I am Doug. That is Daren, and we are on the Variety Sports Network. Daren, I'm not going to wait any longer. Draymond Green didn't wait at all, so I'm not going to wait either. 4 minutes into the basketball game, Draymond Green has been ejected. Daren, you guys are in a very, very heated playoff race. A play-in race, actually. I don't want anybody to think they're in the playoff. They're in the play-in race. You guys are a game up on Houston, and you are having a key piece in your rotation getting ejected 4 minutes into the game. I have a follow-up question, so I'd like to hear your thoughts right away. I know you're not thrilled, but please, what is going on?
Oh my goodness, that was maybe one of the most ridiculous things. I mean, Draymond has done some stupid things, but like knowing the moment, knowing where we're at in the season, for goodness sakes, 13 years in your career, 4 minutes into the game, like you said, and it's not for like a foul. They gave you like a minute and 10 seconds to talk to the guy. Like they gave you a long time to talk to the ref, and then you call him the PPMF, and then you get thrown out of the game after that. Well deserved. I've always defended Draymond in a lot of regards. I was so pissed when I saw this. This frustrated me. And some Warriors fans will probably be like, well, what's the big deal? This happens all the time with Draymond. And maybe it does, but man, I don't know. That one for me, that was just I don't get it. Like, what are we doing here? Like to make this the case? I mean, just arguing nonstop over nothing. Here's the play up on the screen here as we got to get it over. Dude, like I'm telling you, I was so pissed about that play here. Double podcast, as well as Doug said here. I'm happy to be talking about the Warriors have the lead, which I'm happy about. But at some point, we said it over and over again as Warriors fans. Is he a lost player? Is he done? Is he gone next year? He just signed a contract this year, so you don't think he's gone unless Mike Dunleavy makes some dramatic trade out there off season. They still have the playoffs if they possibly get there. Does he have a magical run there? I don't know, but Doug, he feels like I think we said this in one of our earlier podcasts. He just feels like the screw is loose. Even is way more this year. Remember how I said the Dennis Rodman thing? Remember that's how you got it. That's what it feels like. I feel like he's reached that part where he like has no balance anymore. None
at all. Follow-up question. Because I think we've seen enough. The crazy karate movie pulled the other night where he pulled the guy back by his neck. Just another egregious play. But let's ask this, Daren. We are 12 games left in the season. If you guys don't make the play-in, is this it? Because is that it? Is this it for the big three in Golden State? Because the way Steph reacted to that, you can see that it's been mounting, and he's getting fed up.
They just signed him.
I know, but players get traded no matter what. At this point, we've seen it. We've seen it enough. Players get traded. They can get moved. Anything can happen. Would you be okay? Would you be okay at this point moving on?
I would be okay after this season. I just feel like he's gone to a different level. I mean, he hasn't even been available for like 11 games because of suspension. I mean, you know what I mean, which is absolutely insane to think about. So he hasn't even been available most of the time, like for a lot of the season. He's been he's been in foul trouble for a few of them as well. When he's on, obviously, he's unreal to have. You know, he sets up Curry. He's a smart player, all these things. But it's starting to get, like I said, to that Rodman level where his production is not worth the drama, not worth the. And if I was Steve Kerr, seriously, I would maybe sit him next game. Like, I know he won't probably, but like,
isn't he going to be suspended?
Asinine.
Isn't he going to be suspended for another game for that? Because isn't that too?
The limit.
Isn't that the technical limit too?
I mean, at this point, I mean, right now we'll see where are we at in the game right now. I was just looking at they're up 63-50 in the third quarter, I believe, right now. Is that what I have right now?
Yeah, they are.
So they have played. They're somehow holding on.
They're playing great without him. Playing great.
I don't know. I mean, they're playing. We'll get into the Magic here in a little bit, with it. But we'll see what happens with the Warriors here. Just Doug. I mean, have you guys had a player like that on the Cavs, like where you were like, this guy loses his mind, costs us games? Like, I can use one guy. Sean Kemp in the. No,
well, yeah, but that was
he didn't get that many.
we weren't that good then, so it didn't matter. But man, Daren, it's just this is like you said. It's gotten to the point where Rodman came off the reels, and it feels like this is the same thing. I think you said it well. It looks like
he's the first player with like two. I read 2 ejections in the first quarter. This in like one season in like 20 years. Like
they gave him a long leash too. They gave him he talked for more.
Yeah, we just played it. He was talking for 1 minute and 10 seconds. That's how long the video is. A minute and 10 seconds.
He talked for more real time than he had playing time in the game.
Is he on the podcast right now? Is he talking on the pod? Can we break news right now?
If he's not busy, get him on. I mean, it's just this. I think it's just gotten too far. I'm still surprised you guys.
You would still want him on the Cavs, though, right?
Yeah. I think
that's the best part about it. Is it's like, no, I'd still want him on my team.
Would he come off the bench though? Would he be willing to come off the bench?
I don't know.
Because here's the thing: I could take a technical off the bench, but I don't know. I think it's just gotten to an extent. Maybe it's worn out its welcome in Golden State.
You gotta take that contract with you, sir. You gotta take it with you if you want him on there. That's funny. Like Tyler made that point. He's like, yeah, but people are talking, are ripping on Draymond, but they still want his team. They still want their team to have him. I thought that was kind of a funny point. Like, yeah, they probably do still want him a little bit on the team. 63-55 now. We'll see if the Warriors can hang on. Your Cavs losing by 4 right now to the Hornets. That's not always a good sign there. Atlanta up by 7 against Portland at halftime. Washington, Brooklyn tied. Knicks up big on the Raptors. Memphis Lakers tied here in the second quarter. Minnesota up as well early against Detroit. And Houston, who I want to lose, they're up 11 now on OKC in the second quarter. So that fight for that 10 seed, speaking of the Warriors, what do you think? Warriors and Rockets battling it out for that 10 seed. Rockets red hot, my friend. 9
and they're playing good ball.
9 straight. Only a game behind the Warriors for that 10 seed. What do you think the Warriors hold on? What do you got?
Man, that's tough because let me look at the Rockets schedule. Thunder, obviously a hard game. They're playing well right now. They got the Jazz at Utah next. They got the Mavericks, Timberwolves, Warriors. That's going to be a huge game. They've got a pretty tough stretch to close out the year. What does your guys' rest of the year look like? Because that could determine. Our
schedule's not terribly tough to end the year. Considering I think the Rockets have a little bit harder. Should we play Orlando? We got Charlotte at San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, Dallas, Utah, Los Angeles, Portland, New Orleans, Utah. So a few tough games there along the way, but we'll see where those teams are at, where they're resting. We have Dallas twice. They're playing well. Obviously that game at Houston on April 4th will be a big game. It looks like at this point.
Yeah. Man, that's one game. One game.
Do you think the Rockets now can justify those Van Vliet and Brooks moves just because of this hot season at the end and Green being one of the oddest players in the league right now?
I mean, yeah, I think this is what they brought these guys in to be, is to put them in these situations that you're playing for a spot potentially in the playoffs. I think this 100% justifies bringing in those guys. Yeah.
You think more teams will do that now? Bring in 2 veteran guys and say, screw the money. We're still going to bring this guy in. Sometimes because at the beginning of the year, a lot of people were ripping on the Brooks trade, right? Or the Brooks signing, right? And even Van Vliet, I think Van Vliet people were saying they got too much money.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of made me think maybe people won't overreact to veterans getting big money like that.
I mean, I don't think it's ever a bad thing to bring in a veteran. I know Dylan Brooks is very maligned and, people don't like him. People do like him. But I think what he provides is really, he's a solid 3. He's a good defender. He's the kind of guy we saw the other night. DeMar DeRozan took out Jalen Green, and Brooks went right up to him, got in his face, and handled the situation. I still think teams need that kind of guy. And, if he can shoot 35% from the 3-point line, I think it all justifies itself. I think it's a good move. I think, it makes sense because look at how Jalen Green's taken off in this stretch. Look at how well he's played. A guy that, people, myself included, kind of beginning to write off and move on from, and he's been fantastic in this stretch.
Having multiple kids will help you with that.
Yeah, if you have is your Daren, how did your game change from child 1 to child 2?
How many baby mamas does it take you to play better basketball? No, I was kidding.
Where was your leap? Was it child 1 was your leap in hoops, or was it child 2? Where did your leap come
child
from?
2 I dominated. No, it's I don't know what I just he's kind of a weird player too, because I don't know if I actually trust his little stretch here.
I don't know if I do either, but it's been really good, and I got to give him credit for that. I mean, just here last 5 games, 27, 41, 26, 42, 26, and he's done it on relatively strong efficiency. He had a game where he shot 68% on that 41 points against Utah, 57% against, I know these teams aren't great, but Washington. I mean, he's done it on good efficiency also, and that's something that you look for nowadays in a good scorer. So yeah. I'd be worried if the Magic make a run at you. I'd be worried for tonight, because you could be even going into the home stretch. That'd be a hell of a race, though.
Gosh, where are we at? Warriors at 8 right now. Your Cavs still down 4 entering the fourth quarter. Aaron out there does the 5-hole here on VSN. Red Nation out there, Rockets fan. Out there, Aaron.
Red Nation.
I'm not feeling good right now. I'm going to be honest. Not feeling good. We'll see what we do tonight against the Magic. If we win this game, I'll say this. I would feel a little bit better knowing that, because usually that Florida swing is tough for us out there. So we'll see if we can get away with it. It's funny. The 4:00 start in Orlando for me. 4:00 out here. That's what the game.
That is weird.
Is Orlando. Could you imagine an NBA game starting at 4 for you? That would be insane. So Warriors, Rocket, 10 seed. I mean, they're kind of making it a little bit easier on the Lakers now because of their struggles. They can I feel like cruise in a little bit into the playoffs. And speaking of the Lakers, Doug, quite a game last night. I thought they were. Well, speaking of, if you watch the first 10 minutes of a game, you would think it's over. Right. You know what I mean? Like, they look like they were going to run away with this game. Run away with it. And then AD ends up playing 52 minutes, 34-23. I don't know if you got to watch any of it, but at least see some of the highlights. But
it was a great game. Great game.
AD was it was pretty phenomenal this game. Austin Reeves played well as well.
Yeah, let's look at something. Good transition, by the way, to this Lakers game. Bucks. So something that you mentioned before, and something we'll get into more. AD has been really, really good this year. Really, really good. I would probably say this is probably his second best individual season behind the MVP type year. Is that fair to say?
Oh, I have it here too as one of the questions as you kind of get into it. Like, is Anthony Davis' season, is it being overlooked as one of his best in his career? I feel like maybe that LeBron effect, not that it matters, like, oh, I hate LeBron. It's just, he is a little second fiddle in some regards. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he does get a little overlooked. And he's been quieter this year. He hasn't had the drama like he's had before with his injuries. And, like, he's always, like, when he was in New Orleans, this is what you remembered about him. He wasn't like a highlight every night. Like, he was, but it wasn't like the same. It was just like great basketball, rim protection, was smart, shot well from the elbow. Now he can do more. I mean, this is what I feel like we're getting like the Kentucky Davis we thought like 10 years into the league. I feel like he's playing at a really high level right now, Doug.
Like you said, we're getting the scoring, the 25 a game, a little down from his Pelicans days, but we're also getting 12.5 rebounds. We're getting almost 4 assists, 2.5 blocks a game. I mean, this guy's playing phenomenal basketball, and I think that's a really good thing that you brought up, because he deserves some praise. Like you said, playing with LeBron, you're always going to be overshadowed a little bit just because of the pomp and circumstance that comes with that. But Anthony Davis definitely deserves a tip of the cap. I would say probably he ends up third team All NBA. Does that sound right?
No, I think that's a high possibility. I mean, he's having a really good year.
Do you think he could get to the second team?
No, I don't. that was kind of I was making my notes for this show. Like that's our show for next week.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll save it. We'll back
I
burner.
don't even know yet. I haven't really. I was kind of looking into it, and I was like, that's got to be our next show. We'll have to get our All NBA because digging into Davis's stats, I'm like 24 points. Obviously, it's not like his 2016 through 2019 seasons where he was like really carrying a New Orleans team there.
No, that was
for a while where he had to average even a few more points. Obviously, a couple of years younger.
But he's also taking less shots too.
It's just to me his efficiency of his game was what like he's always been a solid player, but last night he was on one last night. He was in every rebound form. He was like boxing out before the shot was coming. If I was a coach rewatching that, I'm like that was like good stuff by him like the whole night. Like there was no laziness in that regard. So I thought that was a fun game last night. It was good we got a good one there because the night game was pathetic with the Kings and the Mavericks. Mavericks winning by over 30 in that game last night there. Hey, before we kind of get to our standings check and kind of like our usual just kind of check around the league and anything where we want to go with that, who are you more scared of, the Heat or the Magic come the NBA playoffs? And the reason
easily Heat, it does. You don't have to preface it anyway.
The reason I had to say it was because the Florida teams is because the Banchero factor. I'm starting to really buy into him. I like Isaac a lot. And I like Suggs a lot. Like I like Suggs and Gonzaga, and I wasn't sure where he'd be in the NBA, but like I feel like he's found his spot because he is what he is. He's just a hard ass player. like you know what I mean? Like he just plays hard. Like you cannot not like a player like that. And he's decent on offense, decent enough to stay on. I kind of look at him as more of a defensive version of Jared Jack a little bit going forward.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. A little bigger.
So you have Heat by far. Is that just because they made the finals last year more so?
I just think they're harder to play. I think coaching with the Heat just plays such a big factor. Spo's going to take away your best option, and he's going to take away your second best option. He's that good of a coach, and he proves it every playoffs. I think the Magic probably have, Paulo's a good individual talent. Franz is solid.
What a name.
But I think there's a drop off there, and I don't think their bigs are as good as Bam. So I'd rather play Magic. I think there's just something about Jimmy Butler in the summertime,
Michael Butler.
There's just something about Miami in the summer months that you just don't want to deal with. And the Magic, we haven't seen the Magic yet. Also, I think that plays a factor too. We haven't seen them in a postseason. Yeah.
How about Sixers or Heat if Embiid's back? That's a tougher one. What do you got for that one then? I'm just saying I would take the Magic just for the record here. As you know, I'm a big Magic fan. So what do you got? Sixers Heat, maybe. That might be a little tougher. Embiid comes back next week, or he's supposed to come back. We'll get to that here.
Yeah, I would much rather I'd rather deal with Miami than them because am I viewing this as the 1 seed or am I viewing this as the 2 seed? Or am I viewing this as the 1 seed or the 2 seed or like as the Cavs?
No, I just mean like in general, like what team scared you if you were just kind of looking at the rosters of their teams? Which one?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I would say Philly. Yeah, I would say Philly with Embiid. Yeah, gotcha. just because the way he's officiated and all that kind of stuff, really.
Yeah, I know. I think the Magic. I think the Magic are interesting. The Sixers to me with Embiid makes it kind of a little trickier with that question for sure. What do you got for standings check around the league here? We kind of take a look around the standings with it. What kind of standing out to you as we get to Doug? Honestly, we just talked about before we got on the air here. Obviously, double here. Me and Doug have been doing it pretty much throughout the whole year here. We started a little bit late into the season, maybe a month or so in.
Yeah.
We kind of been doing it every other week throughout here. I'm pretty sure we'll pick it up as we kind of get into the playoff time a little bit, as much as our schedules allow us to do it. I know me and him would probably like to do a couple of shows after games once in a while. That's where your guys' live reaction. So as we're kind of digging into the standings check, I kind of gave you some of my thoughts with that Magic Heat. There any kind of like, I mean, watching that Kings Mavericks game also last night got my brain kind of thinking too. Like the Kings were this team last year, Doug. They were coming on. Like I'm an hour away from them. Like they were the next young team. And they just didn't make a big enough move. Now looking back at it in the offseason, that really took them over the hump. And I know they played 3 and 4 last night. Maybe that game doesn't matter, but
Yeah, I think that played a factor too.
I don't know that looking at those Mavs, Kings, Suns, those to me are like just like a weird trio right there in the standings.
Well, Darren, here I'm going to make it a quad because I think the Pelicans. You know what? Make it a pentagon. Clippers 27 losses, Pelicans 28 losses, Dallas 29, Sacramento and the Suns both at 30. That's 3 games right there. That's a stacked 4 through 8 right there. And and then you've got the Lakers trying to come on hot at the end here. A couple games back of that situation, but there's that 3-game gap between 5 teams right there. I think that plays a factor also.
So where are you at then with we talked about the Pelicans? I felt like quite a bit a couple weeks ago. They're still playing good basketball. We haven't really touched on the Kings and the Mavericks and the Suns in a little bit like that, and that's why I kind of touched on them a little bit was because I feel like the Suns are the weirdest team in the NBA this year. Like I just don't get why they're. I know the injuries, but 8 seed for Durant team, really? I don't know.
That's a good point.
That's kind of expecting if you're a Suns fan. Frank Vogel, what are you doing?
And they definitely are going to be in a tough situation next season too with the money and stuff. So out of these 3 teams, who would you not want to play then? Suns, Kings, Mavericks, because to me it's still the Suns.
The Mavericks are coming on though right now. They are playing well. And this is the time of year that to be playing well. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 5 straight. I feel like I didn't think it would be this, but I honestly think it's the Mavericks right now. I think Luka is he's better than Fox as their best player, and he's better than Durant right now. And the way Kyrie's kind of seemed to be okay in Dallas right now after a 1-year mark, which is a big deal, at a new place. I'm not the biggest Jason Kidd fan in the world as a coach, but I think the Mavericks with Gafford as well, PJ Washington they've picked up. I think I would pick the Mavericks, believe it or not.
Okay. Man, really over
go Suns. Durant is the factor.
I don't want to play Booker and Durant in a playoff series. I just don't.
I mean, Luka, did they beat him? Or no, they didn't beat that Suns team though, right? Or
they beat Booker and Chris Paul in their last year together. They smoked them.
That's the one I'm thinking in the game 7 there, yeah.
Smoked him in that one. But there's just Durant just worries me in a series because he's just, man, is he still so damn good. It's just so impressive watching that guy play. But you're gonna
level though now. I mean, that's where Doug, we're kind of like, I feel like maybe we're being too old school about this in some ways. Like I'm just being devil's advocate a little here too.
Yeah, I get it.
He is the younger Durant. Like it's his time right now. Like he's proven he can get by these guys in the series. He hasn't had Irving to help. He's got a little better. He's not like playing Maxi Kleber at center anymore.
Right. He's got their roster's definitely improved.
We'll see at the end of the day what happens here. I think Durant, Booker, and Beal when they're on, but it's so funny. We looking back at our beginning shows, like, and we're like, yeah, could these guys stay healthy? It's like, no, they can't. You know what I mean? It's like they just can't stay healthy for a long period of time with it. But the Kings have been frustrating as well. I thought they were going to make a jump this year. They just haven't been able to. I think the Harrison Barnes thing is really holding them back. They just need to get somebody to help Sabonis. Sabonis has had a great year.
He's really who would you rather take on your all? Okay, if you had to go 3rd team All NBA, I know this is early. We're going to do it next week. Sabonis or Anthony Davis?
Oh God, that honestly is going to be the toughest one.
That's probably what it comes down to.
I think it's Sabonis still for me. I think it's still Sabonis for me. But man, that's what I'm gonna have to really dig in a little bit into I was like, I got to dig into these stats a little more before I start making my picks. I think right now I'm leaning towards Sabonis for that.
Sabonis is averaging 20, 14, and 8 assists this year.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal.
He's played 72 games so far. He's played in every game.
He wasn't even that good last night. He averaged 12. He got 12, 10, and 9 against Dallas.
And you said it was a bad game. Like he just.
He wasn't good last night, but he was able to.
Yeah, I get it.
He needs help down there. He needs help with the block shots. He needs somebody to kind of relieve him where they don't have that big of a drop off. So that was a big standings part that stood out to me this week. We obviously talked on the Warriors there a little bit. We'll get into I think we'll get the Nuggets now kind of not pulling away. They've kind of now managed their way into the 1 seed there. Boston obviously has a clear favorite there. Your Cavs are 2 games out behind the Bucks in the East. How are you feeling about the East there? The Knicks are right on your heels. Like, are we dropping to 4? Are you playing? Would you rather play the Magic or rather play the Pacers?
You know what, Darren? I'm worried. I am worried, man. I mean, I know you've gone through injuries and stuff. I know you've lost seasons to injuries, but man, does this feel like a possible lost season? We've lost Mobley for stretches. We've lost Donovan for stretches. We lost Jared Allen for stretches. We lost Darius Garland for stretches. Max Strus for stretches. It hasn't ever got to feel like a unit, and I think that's really worn on Cavs fans as the year's gone along.
Yeah.
Watching this game tonight, they're in a battle with the Hornets in a game that they need to win because their next 2 games are a toss up without Donovan Mitchell, 76ers, and then at the Nuggets. I mean, these are tough games, and like you just said, we're the 3rd seed. We're in a tough battle for the playoffs also. To answer your question, though, I'd rather play the Pacers than the Magic. I'm going to stick by that. I'd much rather play the Pacers than the Magic.
All right. I mean, that's fair in that regard. As we're talking, I might get some screens up here through the NBA just as we're talking, get people some highlights around the NBA tonight. This is one I saw as we're kind of clicking through it. But, yeah, no, I agree with you on some of that. Get up there, young man. That's a nice dunk up there. Nice. Get up. There's a left-handed right on the rock. Get up. Bang, right there. That's a nice dunk right there. I'll see the Rockets now are down, though, so – get a few highlights up on the screen. Like I said, Rockets playing well right now. Let's see where they at right now. They got your Cavs took a 2-point lead here. My Warriors are up 4.
The comeback's
in the 4th quarter here as well. So we got that Cavs or the Rockets are tied now with the Thunder 43-43. Lakers up 8 on the Memphis Grizzlies, who have had just a rash of injuries. Game on ESPN tonight. You got the Sixers up 5 on the Heat, I believe it is right now. Oh, no, the Clippers, excuse me, right there. I think the Clippers up there. Clippers not playing well. We'll get to them here in a second.
No SGA tonight for
no
OKC.
SGA tonight with it, and we're getting to. I think next week too when we do it, I'd like to maybe kind of give our MVP picks as well. Kind of give some of that stuff, or at least kind of what we're leaning towards. We're kind of at the end of the season. I feel like
getting there. Yeah, we got to
get there. Maybe we'll wait a week on that one. We'll go all NBA with that one, I guess, next week too with it. So we got that with it. All right, as I was talking about, let's get the news and notes now with it. Let's go to the Clippers first before I get to the second. Because as we were talking standings, it kind of leads into my point with it is Lou. He's describing the Clippers' identity as soft. Doug, this is the team I thought going to the finals. I still feel good about them.
You do?
Is it possible they miss Westbrook this much? Like, I mean, honestly, do they miss Westbrook? They don't have the energy guy that kind of like
feel good about them.
Let's randomly pump our fist to get the crowd up. Is this the guy they kind of actually need with Leonard and George is like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I got a podcast next Friday. Like, what is Westbrook the guy to kind of just be real with them and kind of get the fire behind this team? What are your thoughts on this kind of recent spurt here?
Yeah, they're 4-6 in the last 10. They've not been playing well. They're in a matchup with the Pelicans right now. If the playoffs started today, that
would be Doug, that is a spicy surgery. What do you like? That's a good matchup. Right
to answer your question, then we'll talk potential matchup.
Yeah. Sorry, you got to be excited.
I think Westbrook does provide something for them, but I also think it's the fact that James Harden's not been scoring the ball recently, and Kawhi's not been playing very well. Paul George all of a sudden has been starting to play better, but now the other two aren't playing great, and some of that's probably due to Westbrook being out and not being able to soak up some of those second unit minutes and some longer nights for the big three. I do think that's a factor. I just flat out don't think they've been playing good basketball. They've been a very bad defensive team over this last stretch. They're not guarding. And when you don't guard, even, there's different levels of guarding. If you don't if you're not even attempting to guard like they've been recently, you're going to get beat. That's just, the NBA. That's how it goes. If they were to put minimal effort out, they would have probably flipped this and went 6-4. But I think they've gotten lazy here at the end of the year, probably ready to rest up a little bit before the playoffs. Let's talk Pelicans and Clippers real fast. How many games does it take the Pelicans to win that series?
Oh man, you said you were taking the Pelicans.
The way you were excited about it, I thought you were taking the Pelicans. So that's why I was trying to tee you up so you could.
I just like the idea of that matchup. That's a good one there. It's like early on. I think I still take the Clippers though.
Would it go 7?
No, yeah.
So you still believe the Clippers can flip a switch?
I believe in playoff Kawhi. I feel like he's in my head a little too. You know what I mean? I feel like playoff Kawhi, if he's there, he's just like, oh, that elbow jumper. Yeah, I'll get to that. It just like I feel like that's kind of my like ultimate concern with him is him being availability is obviously his always a question with him, but I that's what I'm banking on, of course.
Okay.
But Zion's playing better than like this. You can just throw Alvarado and just be like, you're just gonna guard Harden 95 feet, just piss him off.
Just bother him. Just bother him.
Yeah, just like piss him off and like guard him.
You have 6 fouls. Use them.
Yeah, so there is a part of me that worries me, but that's why to me I'm excited about a matchup like that. Is 4 versus 5. It's kind of like intriguing. There's a lot of good stuff out there with Ingram as well. I think I still take Clippers though.
Okay. All right. Sounds like you could be working into the New Orleans. Yeah.
You go Pelicans or Clippers?
Pelicans and 7.
All right, I like it. I go Clippers. You go Pelicans.
In 2 weeks, I'm going to change my mind. But
that's all right.
Pelicans and 7.
Pelicans will lost 2 in a row. We're gonna go there. Hey, before we get to this date in NBA history, what do you got for? I thought that was. If people have been following me on Twitter at all, I appreciate you kind of giving me some confidence with it along the way, telling me I should keep doing it with the videos, sending them out there with it. I thought it was fun to kind of do that question today. Just because I saw Jimmer Fredette was on the Jimmer Fredette, Rick Barry's grandson is on the team. A couple other guys, and if you look at the rules, it does. I'm not going to base my question on the rules here, but it's like you have like a 12-second shot clock. That definitely you can't. You can't have like big papas out there like doing stuff all the time. Like you got to actually have a play with a little pace. This isn't me and you out there like, all right, we need a 40-second break breathing while I'm dribbling by the 3-point line. And now I'll make my
slowly back you down from the 3-point line.
Exactly. So we're not doing any of that with it. But I thought it was when I saw it, I was like, oh, that'd be a good question to ask this morning. I got some good responses with it.
Yeah.
I'll read some of them here in a minute. But do you have a team that you have planned out, like that you have in your head, like who you would go with?
Okay, I'm going to do one for the rules, and I'm going to do one without the rules.
All right, sounds good.
For these rules, I think a team of Steph Curry, Trae Young, and shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Steph Curry, Trae Young,
Jimmer Fredette.
No, jeez, no. Who did I? And De'Aaron Fox. I don't know how anybody would ever stop them. I think that would be a fun 12-second offense.
Gosh.
Two weaves and a 3, and then if a fake handoff from Fox and a dunk because nobody could stay with him. So those 3, I think.
Isn't it kind of a fun question though? Because like 3-on-3, it's a totally different game than just full court.
Yeah, but then I get the long distance 3s from Steph and Trae, and I got the ability to pass and get to the rim with De'Aaron Fox. My all-time.
How are you defending somebody 6'5" though? Like opposed to,
but I don't have to because I'm scoring every possession. I don't think anybody could stop that offense. On the other end, though, the team that I told you earlier today, I think it'd be a lot of fun because of the athleticism, the defense potentially, if at all 3 in their prime, would be Pippen, Michael Jordan, and LeBron. I think that would be fun. Like just the offense the offense of not being able to stop us going to the rim, and then the defense, the length, we would just give everybody fits.
Yeah, so I think it would be fun to watch both those 3-on-3 teams.
Right.
Like that's the thing. Like it's one of those like questions they'll never be able to see. But like I really like that young. Could you imagine Trae Young, Curry, and Fox's speed?
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun to watch and hard to defend at any point in their prime with it. Like I said, I got some of the questions up here on the screen with it. I'll try to be doing something kind of daily. It won't always be basketball, but I'll try to get something up on there with it as me and Doug try to kind of keep growing double here along the way, working our way into the playoffs with you. Hopefully you guys will be with us during then. I know you will be. Doug, I had some of mine before I get to what other people had. I think for me, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe is kind of like, if we're just going the greatest of all time, like that's a pretty tough three to beat right there. And then I said, okay, my non-Jordan team, this has got I don't know why, but like Kevin Garnett to me strikes me as a very good 3-on-3 player in his prime. Like could defend the wing, could
I like that pick
from the outside. I'm gonna go him. Very young, and this is a random one, but this guy he plays in the 3-on-3 league, and I'm like, this guy is perfect for it. I always thought ISO Joe Johnson. I mean, this guy in a half court set is just.
He just wears people out, man.
I'll favor in a half court set.
He wears people out in 3-on like those situations. Yeah, that's a great pick.
He might be a Hall of Famer if we just played 3-on-3 his whole life.
His turnaround jumper is just gorgeous.
Always frustrates me the Phoenix Suns traded him early on in those Steve Nash era Stoudemire days. Always frustrates me.
Who'd they get back?
Oh,
did they get the Matrix?
No. The Matrix, he was drafted. They drafted him. Well, first he got traded from the Celtics too. He was drafted by the Celtics. They went to the Suns. Right. But then he went to the Hawks. I don't know who they got in the deal, but I know it wasn't a good trade.
Well, it wasn't a good trade because he was great for the Hawks for years.
It might have been Boris Diaw. I know. I think Boris was even later than that. And then I had I have to put him on there. I didn't want to go Curry just because it's too obvious. So I went with a different point card that's great. He would get probably abused defensively, but my God, offensively, Steve Nash in a 3-on-3 setting with Kevin Garnett. And Kevin Garnett, ISO Joe, and Steve Nash. I just feel like that would be a pretty good 3-on-3 lineup along the way. Money. Tyler, your boy Steve Nash. Tyler grew out his hair once in high school because of Steve Nash. That's what it is. That's right? Awesome. Right? Remember the Steve Nash? He lick his
oh
hand.
Yeah, he had have his Oh, man,
it was like, my gosh, man,
it was terrible.
We don't want to see that garbage out there. Tyler grew his hair out to love that guy with it. So I had that. Can I read a few that I got here with it? And then you can give me some more that you had. My guy Aaron out there from Team S Sports. He had Jimmer, Ray Allen, and then Kyrie. Not a bad little team there with it. My guy Tom Witt out in Sacramento had Akeem Olajuwon, Baron Davis, and my favorite one, Jason Capono. Out there, I love that one. He's a big Capono guy. You had LeBron, Scotty, and MJ. You threw that one out. That's pretty dynamic as well. Our guys far into the bench over there had Shaq, Jokic, and Steph. That's why it's fun. Like you just kind of like you're like, how's Trae Young guarding Shaq? And then you're like, well, how's Shaq guarding Trae Young? So it goes both ways a little bit. So just kind of a fun, and it's crazy to me. It's going to be an Olympic sport next year.
I mean, we're going to bring home a gold. France. Could you imagine France's team right now? What if they just said, just for fun, Wemby, Gobert, and that kid who's going to get drafted in the top 5 this year, just for fun? We're not going to try for the real basketball one. We're going 3-on-3. We're putting up our eggs in that basket.
That'd be great if they did that. That'd be great.
Just to connect the Joe Johnson, he was traded for Boris Diaw. You were correct, and 2 future first-round picks.
The Boris Diaw knowledge is strong, people.
You Boris Diaw. Spot on.
Boris was a fan. I was a fan of Boris back then. I was like, perfect. I can't jump, and I can like.
He's got a great game. He's got a really good game.
The guy also my son said he would go. I asked him, my son Xavier. He goes, I go Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. I go, son. I give him a high five. And that's a hell of a choice.
Great team. A hell of a team. Hell of a team.
I know that your team's probably beat mine. So good job. That's a hell of a team.
Your team is uber competitive. They can shoot. They can short pass. They can do everything.
It's kind of fun. He's 8 years old now. He's kind of he likes playing the video games. He kind of reads some of the players. He's like, oh, I'd also maybe take that one guy from he's like, I think I forget the team he said it. Maybe he said the Sixers. I think I was like, I couldn't think of who it was. And then he showed me. I was like, oh, Akeem Olajuwon, the Rockets said. I was like, that's a good choice too. Akeem would be a good.
Yeah.
I said Akeem coming off the bench with Larry Bird, Magic, and Jordan. You probably have a good chance of winning there, son. So.
Okay, who do you bench out of those 3 for Hakeem?
Oh man, LeBron.
What?
That's LeBron. We're just messing with LeBron always. You gotta. It's not gonna be Jordan. I'll tell you that. It's not gonna be Jordan.
Yeah.
It's probably
Jordan did run from Hakeem for 2 years.
It's probably Larry. Larry's probably
all things. Whoa.
Yeah, I know they got to go Magic with it. I mean, it's hard. You watch all their games; they're all studs. They're all beasts. Watch Magic. He's a stud. Like
get Magic out of there. That guy's overrated.
The one game I want to. Have you ever? I always do rewatchables, and this is my favorite game. So if you're doing movie rewatchables, and I mean, you talked about doing one here hopefully soon as well. I want to do a rewatchable with you with a basketball game. Have you ever seen the 1984 Game 4 Celtics Lakers finals? That's the one where Rambis gets knocked out by McHale as he's going in for a layup. I'm sure you've seen that highlight.
That's the like the clothesline punch type thing.
Yeah, but have you seen the whole game from start to finish?
I have not seen the game start to finish. I've seen
so literally I was not born yet at that point. I would have been born in 2 months from that point. That's my favorite game I've ever seen of all time. Like it's so good.
Really?
Like there's not even like so good. So we'll have to redo that one when we do a rewatch. We'll have to have you on because it'd be fun to get somebody's perspective that hasn't seen the game really and be able to kind of. Magic is really good and Larry's just off the charts as well. That'd be a fun one to do. So I thought
Larry Bird was the Finals MVP, right?
He was that year, yep. And then McHale's a stud, Parrish, Johnson. It's just a fun game to watch. So I thought 3-on-3. We'll see what we got for the Olympics. Yeah. Kind of a fun question. Kind of everybody gonna get their point. My other one was Savage out there. He always had to go. What did he go with? Lamar Odom out there. Kevin Love out there. I forget his guard he had out there as well. If I can look it up. But
Odom just bringing the ball up and down.
Lamar, I know.
He was a hell. Lamar Odom's game is fantastic.
Oh, Lamar in 3-on-3 too with like Kevin Love pick and pop. You know, did you have some? Yeah, Curry. That's who it was. Curry, Odom, and Love. I'm not going to argue with that one either. That's
a fun team because I mean Lamar is giving you trouble all over the court, and Kevin Love, he woke up with 6 rebounds. Do you remember that when he had the 30 rebound game? He said, "I woke up with 6."
That's why I think 3-on-3 be great. Like he just focuses on boxing out one guy. It doesn't have to really dominate help on one guy. That'd be a good one. I still feel like that LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, tough to beat there. If we're going there with it. So that was that. This date, NBA history. Speaking of the Magic Man, he returned to the Lakers as a head coach on March 27th, 1994. He led him to a victory over Milwaukee. He would go 5-11 in the last 16 games of the regular season, would not return as the head coach. Kind of a fun little stat there in the calendar. Magic Johnson becoming the coach there with it. March 27th, 1998. I remember this game just because it was a big deal on SportsCenter back in the day. An NBA record, 62,046 fans showed up in Atlanta, the Georgia Dome out there to watch Michael Jordan in his last game out there in Atlanta, Georgia. On this date in NBA history, as we like to do it out here on the Double Double podcast. Give you a little history here with it, folks, on some dates here with it. Doug, NBA trivia. Are you ready to go at it with me, my friend?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. So, who am I? Of course, that is the always our little theme here on it. First clue along the way here. I played 13 seasons in the NBA with 4 different teams from 1998 to 2011. So not like an unreal clue, just first one here. Right. You probably need another one here, but if you want to throw out, so just give you an idea of the dates that the guy did play basketball in the NBA. He'll give you that one.
Okay, so you said 98 to 2001 or 2011? Sorry,
2011 is when he played there with it. So that was where you got
1998 to 2011.
Yes, that was where.
I'm gonna start with. It's not Dirk because he won the ring. Then, give me Bonzi Wells.
A great guess, not Big Bonzi. Bonzi was not on the guess. Bonzi was one of out of Ball State. Always a fan of Ball State.
I always like followed him because of his name. I always thought the name Bonzi was just absurd and awesome.
I was always immature and just thought Ball State was funny. So we go there with it. Ball State. We go hit number 2. I finished second in Rookie of the Year, voting behind Vince Carter. I also played for both teams in Florida in my career. But my final stop was in Memphis, playing for the Grizzlies.
Final stop was in Memphis.
And Tyler, yes, big W for the Warriors. We do get a little depth there as we finish it. As we get
there. That's a good win. Great win.
And the Cavs, are they losing now? Is that over now?
They've lost the game.
Oh, Doug, to the Hornets. No, you're only down 4. Still 24 seconds left.
It's over. We've got nobody. They just hit it. Brandon Miller just hit a 3 to ice it.
Cavs fans, Cavs Nation, breaking news. What do you got? Hit number 2, though. I finished.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Rookie of the year. We'll wrap up the games here at the end here with it. What do you got with the teams in Florida? You got to guess.
Finished second in Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
And you said he played for both Florida teams.
Yep. And Miami, obviously. Finished in Memphis.
Finished in Memphis. Give me one more clue.
All right. Hint number 3. I have maybe the best nickname ever. My favorite coach to play for was Hubie Brown. Come on, Memphis people. I know you're out there.
I'm struggling. I'm having a hard time. You got any more clues?
Well, I can give you. He was drafted by the Sacramento Kings.
Oh man. Yeah, it's got to be white chocolate.
It's white chocolate, baby. It's right up on the screen.
That is the best nickname. Gosh, that was bad.
So this is a game I remember they played on a Saturday. They played it on a Monday.
Is this the elbow pass?
No, I don't know what it is, but it's Monday afternoon. I don't think it was an elbow. I don't think it was the elbow pass, but Monday afternoon, I just remember the Kings absolutely murdered the Warriors, the Bimbo Cool Warriors. Back in the day, I think Tony Delp was on the Warriors. Here's one of his great passes here. It's a 12-second video. I played it a couple times for you.
Tony Delp was a bucket.
Pass it to himself, laid it in.
Is that Abdul Rahim?
Even the Warrior fans are going crazy on that move, and the Kings are up 5.
I do a little hard.
Look out! Pass it to himself.
Just the flare. Look at that. Just
Even the Warrior fans.
The fact that he didn't dunk that, he just did a finger roll instead. Like, come on, man, dunk the ball.
I always say it about Jason Williams. There will never be a player like him. No players even have that creativity anymore to pass like that. So Jason Williams, fun fact, played at the same high school as Randy Moss as well. Yes. Basketball there. So they did play together there too. I don't know. That one always just kind of to me it's just an unreal highlight to me. I don't know what that always sticks out to me. I always remember that one as a kid and just be like, this guy, the Warriors suck, and this guy is unreal. That's all I just remember.
Him and Randy Moss were talking about them like in high school together, and he's like, still to this day, if you ask Randy Moss, I'm the best quarterback he ever played with. Like, he went on to play with Tom Brady and all these other guys, and White Chocolate's just like, yeah, I'm the best quarterback he ever played with. He's just that dude to play them in high school, in basketball or football. That must have been the biggest track meet you've ever been a part of. I'm assuming Randy Moss dunked the ball every play.
Yeah, rebound, alley-oops, pretty much every single play, right?
And then in football, it's just a 50-yard bomb, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, that must have sucked.
That's the best quarterback you've played with. Yeah, exactly. Probably maybe we've had worse opponents. That maybe is what it comes down to on that play right there. I think we might need to focus on that, Dre Will, on that part. So I thought that was kind of a funny little trivia question there with a little video to provide with it, as I like to do here with the shows.
Good videos.
All right. Can I give you an NBA flashback now?
Of course.
I got it with it. I'm going to go to a 1993, I think it was, a little McDonald's commercial. I used to have these little cups, as we'll see here with it. So let me get it up on the stage here.
Charles Barkley.
Yep. So he's on it with it, the stage on it. Hold on, let me go back real quick here. They get it set up. But those cups, did you ever have those cups actually?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
You never had those ones?
I don't think so. I would probably remember them if I did.
Man,
what year was this?
This would have been like 93. So like I was thinking maybe
I would have been 1 or 2.
No family members even kept these things around back then. No family.
Maybe they did, but if I wouldn't remember them as well.
All right. Yeah. So hold on. Sorry, I have a little trouble there as I'm getting it up on the screen.
You're fine. Yeah.
With it. Oh man, I lost it. I lost it. Yeah. So the McDonald's cups were with it, and just there with it. As I kind of find it here in a minute. Here I got it with it. Charles Barkley with it. There were good stuff here. So let me get it up on the screen. Here with it. I got it. Bookmark it here. Yep, here we go. So yeah, here you go. They have these the screen with it. He would do the commercials with it. Doesn't have audio, but those were the cups that we would have. We had all of them there with it. This burger.
So what do you say?
1999. Yes, the burgers were great. Michael Jordan there with the screen up on it. And there were these collector cups that they would have.
MVP. Those are sweet.
Yeah, so I had Derek. For some reason, I got Derek Coleman
today for Michael's favorite extra value.
On it. So
that's a good pull, though.
Yeah, so we always ended up with those. All right, finally I got the audio fixed with it here. So, but it doesn't matter at this point. But yeah, 39 cents, Tyler, to supersize me. That's what it was back in the day.
Awesome.
So yeah, Jordan up there with it. I'll get that on there another time. Maybe I'll play it online. But yeah, it's kind of funny looking at those flashback videos. I got a good one next week, but I couldn't use it this week because I felt like it would have been the same team. We couldn't use that same team back-to-back weeks. So I had to use it another one. So we'll use it again. But it was funny looking back at those old commercials with the Olympics starting next year. Yeah. Wonder if McDonald's will have any more giveaways on that side of it. So,
I hope so.
Let's see what happens. Let me give you a quick rundown, Doug, as the scores here. We wrap it up on the show here. We got the Nets, Wizards in overtime, Hawks up on the Blazers, Philadelphia up 4 on the Clippers, Knicks running away against the Raptors, Bulls up against the Pacers here in the third quarter, Memphis getting crushed by the Lakers in the third, Minnesota tied with Detroit as we get to the third. OKC up 1 against Houston. And like we said, the Warriors ended up winning by 8. The Draymond ejection that we talked about ended up not mattering at the end of the day. So Cavs, Hornets, that can't be a good loss there. That's got to be the biggest takeaway from the day here. That's a tough one there with that. Now you guys might fall to the 4 seed here with the Knicks winning.
Yeah, I'm in a tough spot. I think we got to move on from Garland.
Yeah, the Garland factor seems to be quite strong with Cavs Nation there.
He's just not getting it done, man. It's just not happening it's not happening at a high enough level. You would have thought that, like, if I'm the number 2 on a team, a good contending team, and our number 1 goes out, dude, I'm gonna show out. I'm gonna go off. And it just has not felt like that at all from him.
Well, the good thing is maybe you got your answer you got your question answered there. Now they got to figure out to make a trade. Maybe Draymond for Garland. That's the deal. Maybe make a Draymond for Garland trade.
Maybe we circle back around the league one more time before we pull the trigger on that one. Maybe we just double check, make sure everybody's on the same page, and then
we'll give you a booty too. We'll give you a booty.
Whoa!
Now we're talking. You get a couple extra players there in the deal. All right, Doug, that was fun, man.
That was great.
Like I said, before we got up, we kind of talked about where we are with the show, kind of moving forward. Our plan is just to kind of keep you moving, entertained here, basketball-wise, through the playoffs. Playoffs will provide a lot of entertainment. Obviously, the reactions themselves. We'll do some post games right after. So that was fun, Doug. Looking forward to do it again next week, my friend. 2 weeks away from the playoffs.
Next week, a step closer to the playoffs. We're gonna probably talk all NBA type stuff. I mean, it's gonna be fun because we're positionless now, Darren. So, what are your thoughts? Any initial thoughts before going into next week without positionless basketball for all?
It's going to be hard for my mind not to still go.
I know. So I want a center.
Hey, how about we do both? We'll do one there. We'll do it our.
Oh, there we go. Yes, let's do it that way because I still think that's the best way.
All right, let's do both. We'll provide the outlets of both. I like that. So, all right, for Doug Stevens here, Variety Sports Network, for Darren Breyer, Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports. Be sure to check out some of our other shows as well here on Variety Sports Network. Doug as well in the Ohio Sports Talk Show. They do a good job there with Jordan Maxon, getting you up to date on all the Ohio information there going on. I got 7th inning stretch tomorrow for any baseball fans getting that. Where me and Josh are going to start at 6.
Is that an opening day recap type thing, or what are we going with?
We're going to go live 6 my time, so the games will be kind of finishing up there a little bit, and then we'll go live as we kind of make our way through the first half an hour of the West Coast game. So we'll do that. Also kind of give you some stuff, our MVP picks, that kind of stuff as well. Keep you entertained. Go into the Ohtani situation probably a little bit more as well. Probably touch on that. There's Montgomery signed yesterday with the Diamondbacks. So there's some good stuff going around baseball. So be sure to check that show out as well. But like I said, for Doug here on the Double Double podcast, a lot going on in NBA action there. I'm Darren Breyer. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
See you.